Technology continues to transform the wealth management industry, so much that some consider it a disruption. But for those who embrace and harness it, it's opportunity, a way to trailblaze, push past, and challenge the status quo. This is the thinking that drives a new breed of innovators to discover and develop new ways to do business, new ways to interact, and new ways to stay ahead of the changing landscape. But how do these cutting-edge ideas get discovered? And how can you get access to these industry innovators, the possibilities they offer, or the trends they create? It's Scratchworks, a fintech accelerator that connects innovative technology companies and entrepreneurs with wealth management luminaries. The result of extensive collaboration between its 5 founders, Scratchworks expands the possibilities for fintech companies and gives business leaders a front row seat to see what's next. As leaders of the top firms in the country, the founders, along with a consortium of industry professionals, determine 3 finalists based on submitted pitches. Scratchworks then celebrates the business or idea that best exemplifies the breakthrough thinking needed to be future-ready and transformative. And with the potential to receive seed funding, the result is a collaborative first step towards new discoveries, new relationships, and a whole new way of doing business. Because when innovative minds unite, the path is less a challenge and more a journey.
Hello, I'm David Canner, head of the RIA and Family Office segments for Fidelity Institutional. And welcome to Scratchworks Season 3. Like so many of us, the Scratchworks team was faced with a unique challenge in these not-so-normal times. How can they continue their mission as a fintech accelerator that connects innovative tech companies with wealth management luminaries during a time when almost all connections are virtual? Well, when the world around you changes, you adapt. And that is exactly what the Scratchworks team did. This year, we're bringing Scratchworks directly to your home office for a fully virtual experience that promises more stories of innovation, anticipation, and ideas about how tech will continue to empower advisors to deliver more value to their clients. This is what you've come to expect from Scratchworks, and it is what we intend to deliver. This year's program will be brought to you in 4 episodes. Each of the first 3 episodes will feature an advisor tech finalist, and the 4th will reveal the true intentions of our investors as they decide if they will invest in any or all of these ventures. Let's start by meeting the team of investors who are helping to advance the digital transformation of the financial services industry. And our investors are joining us from their home offices from across the United States. So let's say a quick hello. So first we have Marty Bicknell from Mariner Wealth Advisors. Hello there, Marty.
Hey, David.
So to help the audience get to know you a little differently, share a fun fact about yourself.
I have a new pet. My wife and I have 2 miniature horses in our backyard.
Oh, cool. 2 miniature horses. If we had more time, I would ask their name. Well, what are their names?
Jewel and Gypsy.
Jewel and Gypsy. Nice. Nice to hear that. John Jones from Brighton Jones. John, along the same lines, give us a fun fact.
Well, I'm broadcasting from Lake Chelan, but my fun fact is I have video of Marty riding his miniature horse.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'm going to have to get some of that video. Lake Chelan, where is Lake Chelan?
In the middle of Washington State.
Oh, interesting. Never heard of it. I learned something new. Thank you. And John Eady from Covenant. John, give us a fun fact, please. And feel free to say that you have a video of Marty's horses.
No, I wouldn't admit it if I did. Thanks, David, and looking forward to today. Probably the best fun fact is that we've really learned how to do video happy hours well over the last few months.
Oh, nicely done. Do you have a favorite cocktail or favorite drink?
Depends on the theme of the happy hour, so it's different from week to week.
Any miniature horse themed happy hours?
Not yet, but that could be on the agenda.
I like it. Thanks, John. And next we have Shannon Usey of Beacon Point Advisors. Hello, Shannon.
Hello, how are you?
You know what I'm going to ask you. Give us a fun fact.
I would say, fun fact, I finished completing the world major marathons last year, and I'm going to run the Boston Virtual Marathon in September.
Oh, nice.
Great.
The World, where did that take place, the World Major Marathon?
World major marathons, and they took place all over the world. So London, Berlin, Tokyo, Chicago, New York.
Got it. That's lots of cities there. Well, congratulations on that, and best of luck in the Boston Virtual, Shannon.
You too.
Well, thank you. And Michael Nathanson of the Colony Group. Michael, I bet you know what I'm going to ask you.
Hi, David. My fun fact is that I just had my inaugural performance as a singer when I got in front of our entire company and led a rendition of Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Wow. Very cool. I was going to ask you the song. Did you do the Garfunkel parts, or did you do the Simon parts?
I don't have the octave for the Garfunkel part, so I'm definitely much more Simon.
Oh, great. Well, welcome to all of you, and excited for this season of Scratchworks.
Great to be here.
Excited as well.
Before meeting our last finalist, a quick reminder of the two advisor tech companies we met in the first two episodes. LifeWorks, who is building a digital ecosystem on a common data model that connects the client experience across all segments of the wealth management process, delivered in a complete operating system for advisors. Act Analytics, a tool that enables wealth managers to have value-based conversations with their clients utilizing a proprietary ESG scoring methodology. This episode will feature our last finalist, Reallocate.
This is providing a bridge for advisors to access a $16 trillion asset class that they, to date, haven't been able to access at scale, efficiently, and with a fiduciary understanding of what that risk for those clients are. That's pretty transformative to an advisor's business. Reallocate is the next evolution of a parent company called Real Crowd, which we started about 7 years ago. Most advisors and individual investors out there, their only access to real estate is through REITs, whether public or non-traded, which is very different than direct ownership of the actual asset itself. So you're getting much lower volatility, greater returns, and the ability to really smooth out that portfolio, all while getting the benefits of that current cash flow, the appreciation, the benefits of leverage to further amplify those returns. First thing on our website, you'll see we believe that real estate starts with risk. We've landed on 5 main categories of risk. It's the market, the manager, so the sponsor that's actually running the investment, the physical asset itself, how the investment is capitalized, and the partnership structure of that investment. And within those 5 buckets of risk, you can really understand at a very granular level how much risk you're taking on in that investment, and from there, whether or not the return that you're expecting to get from that actually makes sense. So it allows us to have a more appropriate risk-adjusted return conversation, which to date in the real estate asset class just has never existed. The concept is essentially how do we match a client's risk profile with a real estate investment? And there's 3 main components. First is understanding the risk of the client. Advisors use a current risk scoring tool or our own risk personality assessment. The second piece is actually understanding the risk of the real estate investment. That's where a lot of our work focuses on, is how to understand and quantify that risk, and then how do those two combine to build that ideal portfolio. Direct real estate investments can be very hard, right? It's a lot of complications. Just understanding the investment itself can be pretty daunting. We're able to leverage the technology that we've built on the marketplace, where we've processed hundreds of millions of dollars of transactions into $6 billion of real estate, leverage that technology and that efficiency to be able to package this for the advisors to be able to have a fully digitized experience in these real estate investments. They're not having to add real estate experts to underwrite and source these investments. They can just plug into our platform and immediately have access to one of the greatest wealth creation tools that's been around. This basic philosophy translates to all alternative investments, whether it's private equity, venture, oil and gas, infrastructure, transportation. The ability to take this concept of understanding and communicating that risk and building a portfolio of alternative investments beyond just direct real estate is a huge opportunity for us in the future. Also, those 5 risk categories still remain, so the ability to take this to a truly global access platform is absolutely where we intend to go.
So the time has come for Adam to impress our investors. Adam, take it away. The floor is yours.
Hey everyone, I'm Adam Hooper, the founder of Reallocate, where we are revolutionizing how advisors access direct commercial real estate. Before we get started, I want to see a quick show of hands. Who here invests personally in private real estate deals? Could be an office building, a multifamily complex. Industrial? Okay. Now, who here has their advisors recommend that their clients invest in those same private deals? Couple. Okay, good. So most of the advisors that we talk with, they don't have that capability, and we think it's for three main reasons. First, it's just really hard to do at scale. Everything from deal sourcing and underwriting and due diligence to managing the paperwork and monitoring and reporting can just get really complicated. Second, a lot of the advisors, they're just not real estate experts, right? They don't have the platform or the technology to understand the risks and make a sound investment recommendation. And finally, the investment minimums have historically just been too high to build a diversified portfolio of direct holdings for most clients. And that's exactly why we're building Reallocate, where we give advisors fully digitized access to direct commercial real estate investments. We leverage our industry-first methodology to quantify the underlying risk of every investment that we recommend. Think of us as your real estate experts that allow you to build better client portfolios, increase client satisfaction, and ultimately grow your AUM. We're excited to work with such an amazing group of advisors that are seeking cutting-edge technology for their clients. We're asking for $3 million for 15% of our company to continue to accelerate our growth in the space. But more than that, the opportunity to partner with such an amazing group of advisors to help us navigate the RIA landscape and build a platform that enables this industry to unlock access to a multi-trillion-dollar asset class. So with that, who wants to reallocate?
So let me just recap a little bit of what I've heard. Direct access to real estate, I'd say democratizing it for advisors and investors through your unique system. $3 million for 15% of the company.
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to turn it over to our team of investors here for questions. I'm going to actually send it to John Eady to ask the first question, and then I know the other investors will jump on in.
Yeah, great presentation. Thanks for the quick pitch and the information on the firm. Look forward to digging in a bit. Can you talk a little bit more about your team and its ability to do all the underwriting on the properties that you have? It seems like a big undertaking for a fairly small group of people.
It is, and that's the benefit of technology and where our industry has come in terms of access to data. So a lot of this is based on our algorithms that we've built to quantify that underlying risk. Everything, the 5 factors that we focus on, again, the market, the manager, the physical asset itself, how the investment is capitalized, and the partnership structure. We have a very complex model that takes in all that information, ingests it, and then comes out with a final risk rating for each asset that we invest in. Last year, we looked at about $1.5 billion of total real estate value, and that was easily achievable with the team that we have in place.
Adam, how many of the deals actually get to your platform? So another way of asking that is, what percentage of opportunities do you turn away because of that risk analysis?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And that's part of what we're putting in place right now is a more structured investment committee to help us through that process. And that's one of the reasons we're here today is we want an RIA on that investment committee. Historically on the marketplace, it's a very small percentage of deals that get through. We don't necessarily track the total number of deals that fall out. I mean, our philosophy is if you look at 100 bad deals and the 2 best get through, that's still not a great statistic. So a lot of our process is focused on the manager, right? Manager selection, underwriting them, verifying their full track record, every asset that they've ever owned and sold, background checks, litigations, bankruptcies, foreclosures, very thorough vetting on the manager side. And then we get to the investment opportunities, and that'll be, again, part of the investment committee that will select which available opportunities get through to the advisor space versus on the marketplace.
Adam, can you talk about your revenue model? What does that look like? How are you currently making money, and how much money are you currently making?
So on the marketplace side, which again, the parent company, the main business of RealCrowd, that charges a flat per investor fee to the real estate managers. So that's currently fee-free for investors. Under Reallocate on the advisory side, as a registered investment advisor, we'll simply charge 1% on committed capital and assets under management fee on the actually amount that people invest into those investments. We engage as a sub-advisor to the primary RIA, and we're not taking retail clients into our RIA directly.
So you said 1% on committed capital, so it's not 1% on all of the capital that's actually put to work. It's what you've committed. So you guys, you're going to make money right away out of the gate with the investors.
We count committed capital as when that money is actually invested in the deals. So invested capital.
So just to take that model apart a little bit more, so you're affecting a sub-advisory relationship. You become the sub-advisor for the advisor.
Correct.
And you're sourcing these deals, and is each of those deals in its own fund? And is there a fee at the fund level as well?
Yeah, great question. So typically most of the investments that we are going to be working on are individual assets, so not a commingled fund of multiple assets. Typically, again, at the asset level, there are asset management fees that the real estate manager and sponsor will customarily charge. So whatever happens at the asset level, those are fees. And again, that's all part of our methodology and disclosures of how those fees are charged at the asset level. And then we charge 1% on that invested capital for our services in terms of the recommendations and monitoring and reporting that we perform ongoing.
But are there advisory fees at that level, though? You said there are management fees. Are there advisory fees at the underlying asset level?
Again, just depends on how the deal is structured. Typically, in a real estate transaction, the manager is going to charge the sponsor who's actually running and acquiring the asset. They'll charge a acquisition fee, sometimes an asset management fee, a loan placement fee. There's a number of construction management fee, all customary at the asset level, and that's independent from our involvement in that opportunity. We only charge, again, at the advisory level for that 1% of invested capital.
So you don't get a carry. There's no carry on your.
We don't take a carry, no.
Adam, those fees Michael's talking about are that you answered to, but that's part of your diligence process, though, to make sure that those fees are reasonable and in line with typical investments.
Correct. Yep, that all works into our underwriting due diligence in the structure section of our methodology.
Adam, can you talk about your background a little bit more and maybe the team's background on their expertise?
Yeah.
With real estate?
Yep. So I've been in real estate now about 15 years. Started doing local regional brokerage here in Oregon. Started my own firm to do national real estate brokerage, a lot of single tenant net lease transactions. 2010-11 ended up joining a firm in Northern California to start building their joint venture equity placement team, again, focused on the capital markets. And in 2012, when the Jobs Act was passed, I saw the opportunity to build what is now Real Crowd, which is just a infinitely more efficient version of what I was doing before, which was structuring joint venture equity transactions. So that was about 7.5 years ago. We started that company. 2 real estate guys, 2 tech guys, and we've built it to then since 2013, and have now seen over $6.5 billion of transactions through the platform.
2 questions for you, and then I think Shannon has one. How do you source your deals? They say all real estate is local, but is there a particular area where you have specialty? And then the second one is about your technology. Do you have any proprietary intellectual property, any patents, copyrights, so forth?
Yeah, so the first to sourcing deals, again, the real estate industry is still a relationship business. So being in the industry for 15 years, having our team of sales guys that have been in the industry for almost as long, very deep relationships with a lot of the larger institutional managers. Plus, again, the benefit of the marketplace that we've been running for the last 7 years. We've done over 250 deals through that to build up a pool of managers that we can source deals from. So we're looking at filing a provisional patent on our actual underwriting methodology. And again, that is an industry first methodology to take all these different inputs and distill them into a quantified measure of risk. For a long time in the real estate space, it's just been a gut feel, right? If you're going to buy an apartment building at 85% occupied and spend $20,000 a unit to renovate, target of 15% return, you'll call it a value add investment, right? That's about as scientific as it's been. And so the concept of taking these 5 major factors and distilling that down into a quantified risk really allows us to do what we want to do as an advisor and build a portfolio of appropriate risk for those clients rather than just focusing on target return, which is what we saw in the marketplace. So this is directly a reaction to that kind of returns-based investing behavior that we saw, which I think we can all agree is not the greatest investment philosophy. So changing that conversation from a target return to actually building a portfolio of appropriate risk is absolutely something that we're looking to patent down the road for sure.
Do you run into accredited investor issues and qualified investor with Reg D?
Yeah, so these are all Reg D offerings, traditionally 506C, which again is a general solicitation of a private investment. Depending on how the fund is structured, if it's and I don't know how technical we want to get here. There's a 3C, 5C exemption from the Investment Company Act, which allows you to have up to 2,000 investors before you have to be a registered reporting company with the SEC. And that's explicitly for real estate investments. So typical private equity funds, hedge funds, those either have a 3C1 designation where you've got 99 investors, or if you're dealing with qualified purchasers, again, you can have an unlimited number of those. But real estate investments have that 3C, 5C exemption, which allows you to get up to 2,000 investors in an individual asset if it's a real estate investment, not necessarily a security.
If nothing else, he knows his SEC rule number, so you got to give him credit for that.
So Adam, can you talk a little bit about how the advisor actually might use the tool from the standpoint of, I've got a client with a $3 million portfolio, I want to allocate $500,000 or whatever to real estate. So are they is Reallocate finding one investment for them? Are they finding 10 different investments for them? And if it's the latter, how do you convince them that that level of complexity, particularly from the tax side, is worth the effort?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our process is fairly simple. First, it starts with fitting the client into one of our risk portfolio models. Preserve, conserve, balanced growth, and aggressive growth. And depending upon, again, whether folks use Riskalyze or a similar risk scoring methodology, we'll fit them in a conversation with the advisor. We'll fit them into one of those 5 different portfolio models. And from there, each model has a roadmap of assets to acquire. So if that investor has $500,000 that they want to invest in this strategy, that's 10 to 20 assets, depending on what that minimum is at, 25 to 50,000. So that roadmap will say your next 5 acquisitions or 10 acquisitions are going to be a core plus, a value add, a core, an opportunistic opportunity. So we make a roadmap for that advisor. We then do our diligence on the real estate level. And then as a new deal comes up, we'll make that recommendation to the advisor. Here's a core plus opportunity. These 10 clients we believe should invest $25,000 in that deal. We present the paperwork, the due diligence, that advisor makes a final decision, then we execute the transaction.
But to John's point, and John, you beat me to the punch. I was going to go the exact same place. So Adam, are you suggesting though that a client that's making an investment in one of these portfolios could end up having 10 or 20 K1s?
That's right.
That's going to be a hard sell. The cost of additional tax compliance outweighs the benefit of the tool.
That is a tough sell.
I think it depends on, obviously it's going to depend on the client asset size, whether or not they're currently getting K1s and filing anyway. I have a question about Real Crowd. So talk to us about the success of Real Crowd and why you actually need our money if that's been successful.
Yeah, so Real Crowd, again, that's the main marketplace, which is the parent company that Reallocate is a wholly owned subsidiary of Real Crowd. That was purely for regulatory purposes and filing for our RIA registration. So the marketplace, again, 2019, we had a fully profitable year. January and February were profitable. Then COVID happened. July was actually, we came back with our most profitable month ever, which gets us back into profitability for the trailing 3 months. So Reallocate is, again, the area of focus that we see going forward as a huge opportunity for growth for the marketplace and also, again, for the company. And we're seeking this capital to accelerate that growth, right? We've bootstrapped the advisory piece from here off of revenue from the marketplace, but we think there's a window of opportunity right now to accelerate that growth. And again, partner with groups like yourselves to help pilot the program and see much greater growth than we can get on the marketplace by going after investors in individual onesie twosies.
Yeah,
so Adam, to be clear, the investment's going into Real Crowd, which is allowing you to build Reallocate. So whatever we did, we would be participating in both.
That's right. So the investment will be in Real Crowd Inc., which again is the sole owner of Reallocate. Yes.
Thank you for that question, Marty. That was my question as well. Shannon.
I was going to say, can you talk a little bit about the profitability then of Real Crowd? And it sounds to me, and I may be missing this, but it sounds to me like you're looking for partners to help you grow the platform. Forget about the money. The money is obviously important, but having access to folks that are actually have clients that are looking for real estate investments is maybe more powerful than the dollars that would be invested.
That's right. Again, we know the real estate space and we know that very well. The RIA space, that's a new world for us in terms of partnerships and distributions and navigating that landscape, especially from a technology side, from the actual software product. What we built on Real Crowd didn't exist before. There was no such thing as a real estate investment marketplace like that. In the advisory world, there's already an existing ecosystem of software, whether that's portfolio management software, rebalancing tools, estate planning tools. And for us to try to figure out how to integrate with all of those to deliver the optimal access point for advisors, a lot of that is what we're looking to partner with, again, in this space. And the capital, of course, will help us accelerate that growth, which just do everything bigger, better, faster.
And the profitability of Real Crowd? Sorry.
Love to talk to you more about that in private, but yeah, we don't know if we can disclose.
Whoa, private. You got to give us a little bit more than that here, Adam. Is it profitable?
It is profitable, yes. 2019 was our first full year of profitability, which I don't think anybody in our space can say.
Yeah, I think we'd love to understand what that looks like, get a better sense for what that looks like before we, have a conversation about what we're willing to invest. I mean, so I don't know how much you can tell us, but I think we would like to be.
Well, and to that point, Adam, if you want to, part of the beauty of Scratchworks is we like to get deals done. And if you're going to want to get a deal done today, I would advise you to give a little bit more background as to the profitability.
Yeah, so I'll say in June or July, rather, this month, we had $135,000 net profit.
Got it. And I think you said July was your most profitable month ever.
That's right, which we quite frankly didn't expect given the scenario and everything that's going on with COVID. So that was a nice surprise for us. And I think, again, a sign of real estate as an asset class, its sticking power even in these uncertain economic times.
So just a couple more questions, but I will ask one just to clarify for everyone. Is the product only commercial? No multifamily, no office industrial, no retail?
So right now we're focused exclusively on multifamily actually within the modeling. Again, given the market right now, retail and hospitality, those markets have been absolutely crushed. I think there's still too many unanswered questions for us to focus on that. So multifamily is the main focus right now. We're working on our industrial methodology as we speak, and then office will come behind that. So commercial, we generally define as anything that's not land, not single family residential. So historically office, multifamily, industrial, retail, mixed use, those types of opportunities.
What's the typical size of the multifamily deal that you look at today?
Average deal total capitalization somewhere 20 to 25 million, sometimes down to 15 million, and we've had deals as large as 100 plus million.
And to be clear, those are, there's no geographic restrictions. You're investing everywhere.
Yeah, we've done deals in 38 different states. And so with the methodology, again, the market is one of those crucial 5 factors. So that takes it even more specific down into the actual market and submarket that asset is in. And it looks at the risk of that submarket historically, job growth, construction, demand, all the different factors that we look at in the individual markets.
Adam, I don't expect that you've actually thought of this question, although I have to really give you props. You've been terrific. You seem to have answers to all the questions. This one you may not have been anticipating. Some of our firms, including my own, are fee-only firms. If we were to make an investment, is that a problem for a fee-only firm? It seems like there would be a pretty big conflict at that point. And now for steering clients into these assets, we're now benefiting from that economically. Is that just a conflict, or does that go beyond just a conflict?
That's a really good question. And again, I would defer to our counsel at Goodwin to help answer that question. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming that is something that would have to be disclosed for certain.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael, how would that differ for any other investment you're making on behalf of your clients where there's an underlying, There's
no incentive for us to make that investment, David. Whereas in this case, if we steer our clients into these investments and we're owners in this entity that's receiving this fee, aren't we making money?
Got it. I see where you're coming from.
The way I see it is a little bit different, and maybe it's because I think like our firm has maybe a little bit different clientele, is that where we would be helpful to Adam is helping with identifying smaller RIAs that would actually use this platform because they can't get access to real estate investments. Whereas right now we can get access to real estate investments because of our size. Most RIAs can't get access.
Well, that takes the conflict away. If we're just not bringing our clients to it, well, that's a different story. I was hearing Adam maybe suggest that would be a benefit to him, and I guess I'm questioning whether that's feasible.
I would say, Shannon, to your point, again, our target advisor is someone with, $500 million to maybe $2 to $3 billion of AUM.
Sure.
Someone that doesn't have a team big enough to have a real estate expert in-house and have that capacity, versus, again, some of your larger firms have some of that deal flow. They have staff to do that diligence and underwriting. So our focus is definitely on independent advisors in that sub $2 billion range.
That was a great discussion. But are the investors ready to make a commitment? We'll find out soon. Join us for our final episode as we continue the discussions with our finalists in our season finale, where we will arrive at the moment we're all waiting for. What deals are on the table? And how will our finalists respond? Please join us as our investors will wrap up their discussions with our finalists. We'll see you then.